Let's start with a question. What if everything you believe about your limits is a lie? What if the voice in your head that says, "I'm tired, I can't, this is enough," is not protecting you but holding you back? This isn't a story about motivation. Motivation is weak. It comes and goes. This is about something far more dangerous and far more powerful. This is about what happens when a person decides that pain is not the enemy, but the doorway. Inspired by the ideas of Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, let me tell you a different kind of story. Not about a man, but about a mindset. Imagine a boy growing up in a world where fear is normal. Not small fear, the kind that lives quietly in your chest, but loud, violent, unpredictable fear. The kind that makes you shrink, that teaches you early that life is something to survive, not enjoy. Now imagine that same boy carrying those experiences into adulthood. He's not confident, he's not disciplined. He's overweight, insecure, stuck in a life that feels smaller than his potential. This is where most people accept their story. This is who I am. This is how my life turned out. This is enough. But here's the first truth. Your past explains you. It does not define you. Most people use their past as an excuse, a shield, a comfortable place to hide behind. "I had it hard" becomes the reason they stop trying. But what if your past is not your weakness, but your raw material? Think about it. Every painful moment you've experienced, failure, rejection, embarrassment, loss, it's like weight. Heavy, uncomfortable weight. And most people drop it. They avoid it. But what if you carried it? What if you used it to build strength? Because pain, when avoided, makes you weaker. But pain, when faced, becomes fuel. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something that truly pushed you beyond comfort? Not slightly uncomfortable, not mildly difficult. I'm talking about that moment where your mind starts screaming at you to stop. That's where the real game begins. Most people live their entire lives at about 40% of their true capacity. Not because they're incapable, but because the moment things get hard, they quit. This is what you can call the 40% rule. Your brain is designed to protect you. It wants safety, comfort, predictability. So the moment you start pushing beyond your usual limits, it sends signals. You're tired. This is too much. You might fail. But here's the truth. That voice is lying, not completely, but enough to keep you small. Because you still have more. Way more. And the only way to discover that is to go further than you think you can. Picture this. You're running. Your legs are burning. Your breathing is heavy. Every part of your body is telling you to stop. And then there's a moment, a tiny moment where you have a choice. Stop or keep going. That moment defines everything. Because when you stop, your brain learns. This is the limit. But when you keep going, even a little, you expand that limit. This is how mental toughness is built. Not in big, dramatic moments, but in small decisions where you refuse to quit. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable, accountability. Most people hate it. We live in a world where it's easy to blame. Circumstances, people, luck, timing, and sometimes those things really do make life harder. But growth doesn't come from blaming. It comes from owning. There's a powerful idea you can imagine. Like standing in front of a mirror. Not a normal mirror, but one that shows you the truth. No filters, no excuses. It shows your weaknesses, your laziness, your fears, your missed opportunities. Most people look away. But what if you didn't? What if you faced it? Because real change starts when you stop lying to yourself, not harshly. Not with self-hate, but with honesty. I'm not where I want to be. I'm capable of more. I've been avoiding the hard things. That kind of truth is uncomfortable, but it's also freeing. Because once you accept responsibility, you take back control. Let's go deeper. Why do we avoid discomfort so much? Because it feels bad in the moment. But here's the twist. Comfort is addictive. The more you stay in it, the weaker you become. Your tolerance for struggle decreases. Small challenges feel overwhelming. On the other hand, discomfort works like training. The more you face it, the stronger you become. Things that once felt impossible start to feel normal. So the question becomes, what kind of life are you training for? One that avoids pain, or one that can handle anything? Now imagine this scenario: you fail. Not a small failure, a big one. Something that hits your confidence, makes you question yourself. Most people react in one of two ways. They quit, or they hide. They tell themselves a story. I'm not good enough. This isn't for me. I tried and it didn't work. But there's another option. You analyze it. You study the failure like a scientist. What went wrong? Where did I fall short? What can I improve? This shifts failure from something emotional to something useful. Failure is not the end, it's feedback. And the people who succeed are not the ones who avoid failure, but the ones who learn from it faster. There's also something else most people don't talk about: identity. You act based on who you believe you are. If you see yourself as lazy, you'll act lazy. If you see yourself as weak, you'll avoid challenges. So the real transformation doesn't start with actions. It starts with identity. You have to start seeing yourself differently, not in a fake, positive thinking way, but in a grounded, earned way. I am someone who doesn't quit. I am someone who does hard things. I am someone who keeps going. At first it feels like a lie because your past doesn't match it, but every time you act in alignment with that identity, even in small ways, you reinforce it. And over time, it becomes real. Let's talk about discipline, because this is where everything connects. Motivation is unreliable. It depends on mood, energy, environment. But discipline? Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Think about it like this. Every day you have two versions of yourself, the comfortable version and the disciplined version. The comfortable version wants ease, rest, distraction. The disciplined version wants growth, progress, challenge. And every decision you make feeds one of them: scroll or work, sleep in or wake up, quit or continue. Over time, one version becomes stronger. So the question is, which one are you feeding? Now here's something powerful. Your mind can be trained, just like your body. You can increase your tolerance for discomfort, you can strengthen your focus, you can build resilience, but it requires repetition, doing hard things again and again, not once, not occasionally, consistently. Because toughness is not a trait, it's a practice. Let's bring this into real life. Imagine someone working a job they don't like. They feel stuck. They have dreams, but no action. Every day they tell themselves, I'll start tomorrow. I need the right time. I'm not ready yet. Days turn into months, months into years. Nothing changes. Why? Because they're waiting for comfort. But growth doesn't come when things feel easy. It comes when you step into discomfort before you feel ready. So maybe the real question is not, am I ready? But, am I willing? Willing to be uncomfortable, willing to fail, willing to look stupid, willing to push beyond your limits. Because that's where transformation happens. And here's the final truth. You are far more capable than you think. Not slightly more, massively more. But that potential is locked behind effort, pain, discipline, and most people never unlock it. Not because they can't, but because they won't. So if there's one thing to take from this, stop negotiating with your limits. Stop listening to the voice that tells you to quit. Start building a version of yourself that doesn't rely on feelings, but on standards. Because at the end of the day, life doesn't care about your excuses, but it will respond to your effort. And when you finally realize that the barrier was never the world, it was always the limits you accepted, that's the moment everything changes. So the next time your mind says, I can't, you already know the truth. You're just getting started.